Good morning. I'm Angela Hughes, a luxury travel entrepreneur, and it's been a few weeks since I've been traveling around the world, but I am here today with Yasser Salah from Cadence Vacations Center. We've had him on our show a few times because we've been talking a lot about luxury Egypt the last couple of months. And so welcome back, Yasser. How are you?
Hi, Angela. How are you? I'm very happy to be there again.
Good. Well, I just came back from visiting you in Egypt. How was it? I mean, meeting people for the first time in real life is kind of crazy when you met them on the internet, right?
It was a little bit crazy.
But we had a really good time. We had 21 people with you over
Yes.
in Egypt, and we've sent a lot of people over to Egypt to travel with you the last couple months. And so I'm really excited today to talk more about how people can grow their luxury travel market share in Egypt. And you are the perfect partner to do that with Cadence Vacation Center. So tell us a little bit about your DMC, first of all.
Okay. Before I talk about my DMC, I
Mhm.
would like to talk about the coronavirus uh, uh, in Egypt.
Okay.
So, so uh, like 1 month ago, in May, when we were there, we
Mhm.
got like every day 1,000 cases every day.
Okay.
And death was like 40 person every day.
Okay.
Today is less than 500 cases, and this between 20 and 30 every day. So
So
the
it's really dropping in Egypt.
yes, yes, exactly.
Okay,
Uh,
I think it's a perfect time to travel to Egypt. The prices are low, the attractions are not very busy, and but there are a lot of Europeans going, and we ran into quite a few Americans as well. And so, why do you think it is the perfect time? Are there more reasons why it would be the perfect time to travel?
yes, if you believe or not, now number one country visiting Egypt are the American.
Oh,
So
really?
the American is minimum 12 hours flying from us. The Europe people is from 3 hours to 5 hours. But number one country for Egypt now is America. And because, the American people love the culture, our culture, they love Egypt. And our atmosphere here is very good, even in summer time.
Right. So I didn't realize that. I thought it was more Europeans that were visiting than Americans. So you're saying no, the number one tourist right now is the American client coming in.
Exactly. And people visiting Egypt right now, as you said, number one rates is like 50%.
So that's
It's
incredible.
very low. It's very low.
Okay, so we kind of
And
talked about this while I was in Egypt. I was there in 2011, right after the revolution, and it was dead quiet
yes,
after the
so
revolution. Like I was the only person at the pyramids, literally the only person with my small
you
group.
are lucky. You was lucky in that
I
time.
was very lucky, right? And then I came in 2019 again, and it was really, really emerging as a destination. And I came over with the hopes of building more business there for 2020. Of course, we had COVID, but now I've returned, and I feel like so many people want Egypt, and the price is so hot right now. Um,
I will tell you something about the low prices. In May, when you were there, and the same time I have like a budget. I hate to call it budget because I use also 5 stars hotel. But people, a lot of people afraid to come with me because of my very low prices.
and so
Do you
people
believe
think
that?
that you're a fraud.
Do you believe that?
Yeah, well, you know what? Sometimes things, if they're too good to be true,
Uh,
then people worry about that. But really, the
exactly.
pricing in Egypt is so low right now that you could be staying at a Ritz Carlton, you could be staying at a Four Seasons. I know that you also work in the mass market arena of lower scale as well. I know that you're working on a couple of students for me right now, and you've hosted some students of ours in the past. And so I know that your prices, you can do a regular tour. You can also do a luxury tour. So let's talk about it for a minute. I've got a PowerPoint today. We're more official today than we usually are. And so I'm going to add this to the stream here. And let me get organized here. Let me go full screen here. So you're the owner of Cadence Vacations Center. And like we said, you're a luxury DMC in Egypt. I want to look at this map for a minute because I feel like so many people don't know that Egypt's actually in Africa. People,
exactly.
Okay, this is where the geography professor in me comes out. Okay, you guys, Egypt is in Northern Africa. And for some reason, as like a geographer, sometimes we teach that this belongs in the Middle East, or sometimes people think it belongs in the Middle East. Talk to me a little bit about how separate it is, because I feel like many people think, okay, there's a conflict in Israel, so I shouldn't go to Egypt. Can you address that?
Yes. Egypt, as you told our advisor, is in North Africa. And do you see the Red Sea and Suez Canal upstairs? This small part is Sinai, where Sharm el-Sheikh and a lot of resorts on the Red Sea. And this part is in Asia. So we are in Africa, and a little part is still in Asia.
Okay, and so that's something to be known, everybody. If you want to go to Sharm el-Sheikh, that's up on the Red Sea. That's a big resort destination for people. Prices are very good right now for that. Okay, Egypt as a whole, up on that corner of North Africa. And so you've got Morocco kind of to the west, and Tunis and so forth, and then East Africa, and then South Africa. So first of all of you guys, I know it's difficult, find out where Egypt is on the map, and don't always associate it with the Middle East because it is part of North Africa. And that's one fear that people will have to get over, is that Egypt is very separate from Israel. Although be it close, because there's conflict there, there's not necessarily conflict in Egypt, just like there's not conflict in Texas when there's conflict in Florida.
Yeah, there is a border between us and Israel. It's about 600 kilometers away from Cairo.
Okay. So now I'm pulling up kind of this cartoon map a little bit so people can see where things are kind of placed, because I think it's important to see Cairo up at the top, coming out of that Nile Delta area, Alexander right on the seacoast there. And many times when you're cruising, you'll land in Alexandria, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
And so to start off, many people will do a couple of days in Cairo, and they'll start with the Giza pyramids and the Saqqara pyramids and Memphis. And then one of the most important things that they should do is board a river cruise. So they'd fly to Aswan down at the bottom of this map, and you could board a river cruise at this stage of the game. And that would take you over to visit Abu say it correctly for me, Abu Simbel, right?
Abu Simbel. Exactly.
Yeah, that's where we were. And I probably think that is one of the most dynamic destinations within Egypt. And that was a first for me when we went in May. So it's the Ramsey II, home of Ramsey II. It's his temples to him and his wife. And it's a little bit of a drive out there, but it's probably, and you said it to me, you're like, you do not want to miss this. It's probably the most remarkable thing in Egypt. And we were all going just gaga over it. It was amazing. Then you would take your river cruise up through, from Aswan up to Luxor, and you'd see different things, the Valley of the Kings and the Queens and Karnak and Luxor and Edfu and so forth. And so there's so much to see here that a lot of people just associate Egypt with the pyramids and not with the other destinations within Egypt. And so do you recommend like taking only the river cruise, or in the past I've flown out to Luxor? What's your preference on that?
So there is three itineraries for any Nile cruise.
Okay, 3
So,
itineraries.
yes, the itinerary you got in May will fly from Cairo to Aswan,
Okay.
and we take the cruise from Aswan to Luxor in 3 nights.
Okay. So
And
you could actually do a 3, 4, or 7 night cruise, correct?
that's the first itinerary. The second itinerary, if you need to have 4 nights cruise, you have to fly from Cairo to Luxor to
Okay.
get a 4 nights cruise on
Okay.
Monday. And 7 nights cruise, the same. You have to also start from Luxor to Aswan and back to Luxor.
Okay. Now, really quick, we have a question from Susie who's watching, and she's saying, which airline does Yasser recommend to fly within Egypt? Now, I know that you do, when you do the itineraries, you usually book the air for the
We use,
Egypt portion.
yes, we use Egypt Air
Mhm.
or the sister company of Egypt Air called Cairo, Air Cairo. It's the
Okay.
sister company of Egypt Air.
And so when you give a quote, you often give the land portion, the cruise portion, and then the inner Egypt air. And so if you're booking Egypt with him or many DMCs, you would book the international air separate as an advisor, and then he would take care of the rest of it for you.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, we're moving on for a minute. So we talk about how you can provide really unique travel experiences that are tailor-made. So if someone wants to come work with you, they don't necessarily have to just get stuck on an average itinerary if they don't want that. If they have something in mind that they want to see, you can tailor make those
Of
itineraries.
course, of course, we are very, very professional in that thing because يعني, today I make 3 itinerary. All of them are different.
Yeah.
All of them are different. So customers or travel advisors send us what the clients need, hotel categories, what they need to see, how old are they, because in Egypt there is full days is not good for 80 or 90
Or
years
even
old
50.
clients.
Yeah, people
It,
are tired, and so you can customize that. So it
exactly,
could also be
exactly,
hot that maybe they don't do as much in one day and they have a little more downtime. So,
exactly.
I mean, one of the things I like to do when I come to Egypt is actually go to the spa there. And so I love how you can work in spa experiences.
You will do it in your extension when you go to Sharm el Sheikh.
Yeah. Okay. So we were talking about 3, 4, and 7 day itineraries. A good add-on when you're done doing Cairo and Luxor and Aswan is to do that extension over to Sharm el Sheikh on the Red Sea. And
We could do Sharm el Sheikh, and in this case, it doesn't matter which cruise itinerary you choose, because you have to go back to Cairo and take the Sharm el Sheikh flight from Cairo to Sharm el Sheikh.
so just to recap, everybody needs to return to Cairo to restart the next portion of their trip. Okay.
Yeah, but Hurghada, if you need to make your extension Hurghada in Oproi, Sahl Hashish, you have to take the cruise for 3 nights from Aswan to Luxor, or 7 nights Aswan, Luxor, Aswan, because you take the car from Luxor to Hurghada. It's 280 kilometer. It's
Okay.
about 3 Egyptian hours.
Okay, 3 Egyptian hours. I like that. Okay, so one of the things we want to talk about is you've been in business for over 32 years. And so
Exactly.
I feel like sometimes advisors in America are nervous to work with DMCs directly because they're afraid of the exchange of money and maybe never seeing it again on the other end. But that's not the case with you because you've got 32 years experience and you're a big name in Egypt and people have been working with you and you have tons of reviews. And that's what makes you a professional over there, I think.
Of course, but it's very easy. If you wanna work with a new DMC, The first thing you have to do to search, you have to get reference. You have to ask his partners. If I got 20 years partner, a 15 years partner, and so on, you could call them if you want to work with me or with other DMCs, to know who I am. And I also, because I hate the written reviews, because everybody can write the written reviews. So I have my reviews only video reviews, and video reviews don't lie. So if you go to my website and go to clients review, advisors review, and clients review, he knows what we do there.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about what a destination management company actually does, because I know we have lots of new advisors on here and people aren't very familiar. They're used to using tour operators in the United States. So we're going to walk through some of the tasks of what a DMC actually does. Okay. And so I want to talk about some of these things. So this is college class today, everybody. Okay, the first thing a DMC does is he designs programs. So he works with a lot of different venues. He can organize events and even the decor if needed, if you're doing a wedding, etc. That's the interesting thing. If you are a wedding planner, you probably want to be working with a DMC, and you can take the wedding planning out of Mexico and out of the Caribbean, because, oh my goodness, I walked into the most gorgeous wedding at the Ritz-Carlton when I was there in May, and it was a dynamite venue, and not only a dynamite destination. Everything doesn't need to be Mexico, people. Okay, the second thing that they do is logistic management, okay? Meaning they can put together your event timeline, they can schedule, they can put together the transportation, and we'll talk more about the transportation. Also, they do a lot of meet and greet, okay? I love that Yasser, even though he wasn't our tour guide the entire week, he was right there to meet me at the airport, which is really odd to have the owner of a company meeting you right on the ground. So his group also works with the arrivals and departures of the visitors. We had 21 people coming and going at all different times. And so it's fantastic to have somebody meet you there and work you through the visa process. Now, one thing with the visa that we're going to talk about, $25, you get the visa on the ground, okay, when you arrive. So it makes for a really easy destination to get to right now, especially because our passport and visa offices are really backed up. Okay, third task is supplier management. And like I said, he has a selection of vendor and supplier pricing that he's negotiated out for you, which is better than going directly. So, and lastly, he will help you through the payment, the bills, the auditing, and the financial negotiations of everything. So a DMC does a lot of different things for you. They piece it all together. A tour operator often buys from a DMC, okay? An advisor often buys from a tour operator who buys from a DMC. And so there's a lot of money involved when you have to go through a couple of different layers. And so going directly is always super, super key. And it's finding the right person is super key on the ground. And that's what we're helping you do today at the Luxury Travel University. Okay, so we've talked to Yasser. He's been on our show several times, but I just wanted to put up this slide about him. He started working in tourism in 1990. He's actually studied in Germany. So his first language really is German almost. Well, not your first language, but you think your first language is German, right? So you do speak a lot of German. And he's had many positions in tourism and has worked in the United States as well with different tour companies here, running their Middle East departments. And he has a big background in also digital marketing and photography. And you will see him at different shows throughout the year, including ITB Berlin, etc. So now Yasser's kind of a character. I've had a couple of people say to me, he doesn't work well with American women, but I beg to differ. He does work well with Americans. He has a funny sense of humor that you have to get to know. And once you do get to know him, you'll love his personality. Okay, let's talk a little bit about transparency for a minute. Can you comment on this at all, on transparency and uniqueness with your brand?
So in Egypt, because as you know, and you did visit me in Egypt in last May, we are not a big DMC. We are small. So to be small and you need to be something in the American market. So you have to be, or you try to be a little bit different. And one of the things I work on it, the all my business is we offer personal service in Egypt, and every client feel it. Every client feels that he is the only client we have in our company for the next 2 years. Believe me, and that's because of my guides. You know, all of my guides. You met them already,
Yeah.
and and also we have our platform, my website. We are B2B DMC.
Okay, let's talk about that for a minute. You are business to business. That means you don't sell to clients directly. And I know
Listen,
that,
do you remember 2 days ago
yeah.
when two of your clients was with me in Egypt and they contacted me to have my website address? I
Mhm.
refuse to give them because I'm B2B, and I send you an email to contact them to
Right.
see what happened there. So that's what I do, not only with you, that's with all the travel agent I have.
Yeah, so that's amazing because you don't have to worry about your clients undercutting you
So
and
I
going
have to
directly
be
to
honest with
buying the
them.
next trip. Right. He works directly with the advisors and is business to business. And so when you sign up on his website, you'll have your own portal. That's where all my vacations start, or not start, or listed, and I can go in there and see what they've got. So, okay. So I love that about you, is that you're not working
And
directly with the client.
can I add something about my website? If you need also to go, and there is ready-made itinerary you could for 40 years.
Yeah.
So you could book anytime and you confirm your booking in the same day.
Yeah, so you can
Mm.
go on there and already see ready-made itineraries if you need something quick to give somebody. You know, that probably 90% of the time is going to work if you don't really need to customize it. So, and literally, this is how fast it is. I have a group of probably 25 couples going in January, and they needed a couple of extra things, and he literally had me the prices within an hour, which was really super amazing. Sometimes DMCs tend to take longer. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about the luxury river cruises, because you offer a lot of different lines that you can blend in. Oberoi, the Concerto 2, the Historia, and different sailing yachts. And I love that you can white label these, especially if you do a buyout. Talk to me a little bit about the river cruising situation for a minute.
Of course, I work like all the Fortuoso member. I choose the same cruises. They love it, on they work on it. Like Sonesta San George, Oproi, Nile cruises,
Yeah,
and, and there is brand new cruises in Egypt, like two or three of them. They are very good cruises, and I start to use it. They will sail starting from October, next October, and the
right.
next November, and they are really very luxury cruises. So I choose the best because the American, not all the cruises is good for the American clients. People think if you don't work with the American market, you don't know what you choose because you think that's a good cruise from your point, but it's not for our American clients. So we know already what we choose for them.
Because Americans are just pickier, bottom line. I think that
Uh,
they,
I can say that. You could say that.
We're pickier. We're pickier. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You have so many five-star hotel partners, as well as 4 and 3. But because we're the Luxury Travel University, we're going to focus on the five-star properties today. And so, tell me a little bit about your relationship with the properties. And we've had several of them already on our show in the past. We've had Sofitel. We've had the Four Seasons. When I was there, I met with the Ritz-Carlton, and we did some filming and taping there. So talk about your partners for a minute and how good your prices are with them.
Okay. I have a great relationship with my hotels, and we both met already, the sales manager and general manager of them, and you saw with your own eyes how is the relationship.
Yeah.
They wanna push me, help me, and because I work for luxury business, or I try 90% of my business is luxury.
Right.
So use in Cairo, we have Four Season, we have Nile, Ritz Carlton. We got also Oproi Marriott. No, I'm sorry, Marriott Mina House. It
Yeah.
was Oproi before. So Marriott Mina House and Intercontinental Hotel. Intercontinental Hotel is a
Mhm.
little bit near than the airport, and we take the last night. And the best thing in that hotel, it's beautiful hotel, of course, but also the hotel built in the biggest mall in Cairo.
And actually, I loved being so close to them all. The reason why is this.
Not only you.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun just being there. So that Intercontinental, what he's saying is it's really close to the airport. So he'll use that as like a last night departure, but it's
Yeah.
connected on one of the largest malls in Egypt. So um, there's tons of food there, especially if you're American. Sometimes, like, I mean, I had been traveling for 24 days. I was ready for just like a cheeseburger. I'm not going to lie. And my Dunkin' Donuts. And no kidding, just walked into the mall and got that. So when you have to break free and you just have to have your, good old junk food, it was great being by the Intercontinental. So he's got everything from Oberoi, the Hyatt, the Movenpick, the Sinestas. So lots of different options there that I think people love. Okay, moving on. Okay, this is one of the best parts of your product, I think, is your white label transportation.
Maybe. I hope so.
Yeah, you travel with all new buses, and so you don't get on cars or buses that are old because you don't own your own fleet, and you do that.
And I will never have
Yeah,
own my
and you
own
do that
fleet
on
because
purpose. You don't want to own your own bus
exactly.
fleet because you don't want somebody stepping on a bus that's now 5 years old. And so
Exactly.
every year you're running luxury brand new Mercedes-Benz buses, etc., which are just air conditioned, super comfortable. And let's talk about how you're always traveling with police security, because I think that's a nice addition, which people feel a lot more comfortable with in Egypt.
So first of all, we use the last models of the buses we got in Egypt. I cooperate with all the transportation companies. Whoever have the best cars, I take it. I don't care a lot about the prices because for the American market, the quality is better than the
Yeah,
prices. And if you wanna white label the buses, you got your name all over the bus, your company name, I mean,
yeah,
all over the bus, like I do with my final document. Also,
right.
I white label the final document in my website. I send the final document with your company, with your logo, with your address, telephone, and everything. So, and a lot of people like to white label everything. So there is a lot of clients come to Egypt and they come back without even to know what is the name of my DMC, because we welcome them at the airport with
Yeah.
your sign, with your name or company name, and all the guides doing that. When every clients before he goes, he leave a video review he don't mention my company name. He mentioned my agent name because this review will bring my agent another customers if he
Yeah,
put
and I
the
like
full.
how you even send us the video reviews because then we can share them on our social media, etc. And I'm not kidding. You are so personal with your clients that we had customers there back in probably March, and you actually had them to your own home for dinner, which was so sweet as well. You got to know them so well that they felt comfortable coming to your own home, and you hosted them the last night for dinner.
Ah,
So
the three are okay. They was really they was very nice, and I was happy to have them on the dinner because the flight was very late, and that's what I'm talking about, the personal service, you
yeah,
know. And if you believe or not, these people bring us or to I think they was Karen. I don't remember but they bring here a lot of customers.
yeah, it's fabulous. Okay, let's talk about the pre and post packages for a minute, and then also your Egyptologist. So you can do pre or post added on to any of your 7-day vacations. Um, Sometimes people want to come in early and just rest up. I kind of recommend going in a day or two early just to get over that jet lag so you're not tired, and customizing it however you want to on either end. So let's, before we talk about the Egyptologist, talk about a couple of things that people can do. So we talked about Sharm el-Sheikh. You also recommend Alexandria.
Yeah, of course, Alexandria. Our next uh, we do different things in our next fun trip. Like we put Alexandria and we put Dendera temple. That's one of the most colorful temple in Egypt, and it's 90 kilometer north of Luxor.
Okay, so and we're going to talk about the fam trip in just a minute. Okay, let's talk about the Egyptologist for a minute. The types of people that you use when who are doing the day tours for you, because they're all outstanding.
In our last fam trip, uh, we did in our last fam trip, I did already bring all like 90% of my guides to meet you and to see you, to see the standard, to test the standard of my hotels, my cruises, my transportation, as also my guides. Like a lot of them are doctor professors in the faculty of tourism,
Yeah.
and they studied Egyptologist, and they speak fluent. I think you could speak better because you did meet all of them. You did Dr. Dalia, did meet Suzanne, you did meet Ahmad, you did meet. Uh,
Yeah. So he has a staff of several different Egyptologists who are all professors and university types, and they are so good. In fact, when the embassy comes, one got called away and she couldn't guide with us because when the embassy comes, she has to tour only with the embassy. And so this is a type of quality that you're getting. And the other thing that drives Americans crazy is getting with a guide who doesn't speak really clear English. And so it becomes a strainful situation throughout the day. All of your guides had really fluent, well-spoken English. And so it made it much more pleasant to listen to. And we were just hitting them with a million different questions. Americans have so many questions when they get to Egypt, and they were so patient answering those with us, etc. So you have a great group of guides. Okay, so let's move on for a minute because I know that you're hosting
I,
two more. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to add something about the guide. As you also know, that I use in every itinerary two guides. One guide in Cairo because Egypt is full of history. So I use two guides, one in Cairo and one in Upper Egypt, in the cruise or and so on. And that's, as I told you, for two reasons. The first reason, uh, every one of them know his area better than the other.
Right.
The second thing, I also save a lot of money, because if you go throughout, I have to save for him the, I have to add the domestic flight for him, and so on and so on.
Okay, before we move on to the fam trip information, we've got a couple questions. Here's one coming through. Do you have excursions to St. Anthony's Monastery?
Yes, I could customize it, of course,
Okay.
but of course I could customize it.
Okay. Are you saying that with like conviction, or do people not usually go to St. Anthony's? I felt a little pause there for a minute.
Not all of them.
Okay. So, but you could customize it if somebody wanted to do that. You could make that happen for them.
Of course. That's
Okay.
our job.
Okay.
And you will pay for that. So I have no problem.
Okay. Let's see if we've got any other questions. Okay. Someone says this. Okay. This person says, Yasser is a character. I love his personality.
Is that she or he?
I'll tell you who it is. That is, I love this. Natasha Jusino. Thanks,
Okay.
Natasha. It's true. He is a character. Okay. So, okay, let's talk about the fam trips, because we've got two big fam trips coming up. We have one in September, and then we'll be announcing another one in February. We haven't given the dates away on that yet, but let's talk about September. What are you offering in September, and what are the prices on that? And you can find that fam trip in the announcements of this Facebook group, Luxury Travel University Social Media Marketing Strategies. I've got it up in the announcements. We've already had people apply for that. So talk about the fam trip for September, and then the one that we're doing in February that we haven't announced yet. So
Yes, the different thing we have in this fam trip, like we do all the same we did in May. Like we go to Cairo, we visit the pyramids, Memphis, Saqqara, the Egyptian Museum, all the Cairo, the Citadel, and so on. And but before we leave Cairo, we go to Alexandria, because it's not because Alexandria is my city. I love Alexandria, but all people go to Alexandria, they say, Yasser, you have to put it in every itinerary, because it's really beautiful city.
okay,
And
so you've got Alexandria worked onto this, so that's unique. That's
so
different.
I did add Alexandria. I did Alexandria. And when we go to the cruise, we fly also for 3 nights cruise. So we fly to Aswan and we do the same program. And if people want to have Abu Simbel, we could do it on Saturday,
Okay.
and we could do it per bus. And after we finish in Luxor, we don't fly to Cairo. We spend a beautiful night at a beautiful historical hotel called Sofitel Old Winter Palace.
Okay.
I think like 90% of our advisors know this hotel. It's a very famous
The
hotel.
Old Winter Palace. Yeah, it's probably one of the most famous ones there.
So, and we spent there one night to test this hotel, and also to go next day before we fly to Cairo to Dendera. The temple I told you is the most colorful temple in Egypt, and we go like 90 kilometer north of Luxor.
Okay. Okay, so to sign up for this fam trip, you guys, like I said, that's in the announcements here in this Facebook group. So look for that. The pricing's in there. You can bring a +1 on that. And the date on that, remind me, is September 7th. Is that correct?
Exactly. From
Okay.
no, from 9th. From 9th.
Okay, September 9th through the
Yes.
6th. And then
Because
go ahead.
because there is an event in Turkey for
Yeah.
wedding
So if
planning.
you go
I
to the
will be
wedding
there, and
destination
after,
show, yeah, if you go
exactly,
to the wedding destination show in Turkey, the IADWP, this would be a wonderful add-on to do. Just
it's a
pop over.
2 hours flight, only
Yeah,
2 hours to flight.
yeah, 2 hours from there, and you could add on this fam trip. If not, we're doing
Exactly.
another fam trip in February. I'll actually be escorting that one again. Dates are coming on that, but we want to fill up the September one before we announce the.
I think we will do it today because it's only 6 spots left.
Okay,
So
and six
if
spots on the September trip, right?
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly
if you want
left.
to get on the September trip, we have 6 spots left. We've already filled a bunch of spots on that. Okay, we have one more question. How can you obtain a list of clubs, um, restaurants, upcoming events, celebrations outside the tour to visit in any city? So how can if they want to get additional information, can you provide that?
Of course, you have my. If you go to my website and you don't find any information you need, you could send me an email, and it will be my pleasure. As I told you, uh, if you send an email, you got the answer in the next Egyptian hour.
Okay,
So
and tell me what your email is again. CVC. What's your website again? CVC
cvc.vacations.
vacations. I'm going to put it here in the comments. Okay, CVC.vacations.
And my email is info@cvc.vacations.
Okay, so info@cvc.vacations, so you can touch base with him. Okay, do you want to wrap it up for us today? What do you have to say?
I hope that's the most important thing, because I attend your show today with my beautiful Egyptian galabia. You don't say anything about it. You don't like it?
You know what? I just thought it was so customary that I didn't think twice. I was like, oh, it's so Egyptian in an Egyptian minute. So, yeah, so I love it. Well, thank you for joining us. You guys, we've been doing so much training on Egypt. We've done 4 different episodes that you can find on our YouTube channel where we've been talking about Egyptologists. We've been talking to river cruise experts with Yasser. We've been talking to the Four Seasons and the Sofitel with Yasser. So we're building kind of a collection of how-tos, how to sell more luxury Egypt. And Yasser has been helping us do that. So thanks for joining us today.
And if anybody interested to know more about Egypt, I can learn them privately how you sell Egypt. So I can spend 1 hour with him to give him more information about Egypt. And if you believe or not, I can make anyone expert in Egypt in 1 hour.
So, in 1 Egyptian hour, he can make you an expert. So if you want to
Exactly.
reach out to him at info@CVC Vacations, right? Or just hit me a message. I can connect you with him too. He can do some private training with you. And think about this as a destination. I'm trying to shift a lot of people that are calling me up going, hey, I might want to go to the Caribbean or Mexico or somewhere. And even a young couple that hit me yesterday and said, we want to do Florida at Christmas. I'm offering them Egypt because people just don't think about it as an option. And when they see the pricing, how great it is, and the types of resorts and experiences they can have, it's really life-changing for them. And to testify of that, my own husband joined us in Egypt, and he's my hardest sell.
Happy birthday to Brian.
Yeah, he just had his birthday yesterday. He actually was telling one of his customers yesterday, who's joining us on a group that we're doing in February. He's like, I loved Egypt so much, I will go back with you. And it was such a great compliment for him to be at the table actually selling something in tourism. He works in orthopedics and I work in tourism, and he rarely ever tries to talk people into travel. But the whole dinner, he was telling people how great Egypt was and that he wants to go back. And so if you can sell my husband, you can sell anybody Egypt. So, okay, Yasser, so good to have you today. We're going to end the broadcast, but hit me with questions, you guys. I'm Angela Hughes, the luxury travel entrepreneur, and look for the fam trip to Egypt in the announcements today, and we'll talk to you guys next week. See you later.
Thank you very much.